Memories define us, they shape who we are, what we believe, and how we live. What if you met someone who remembers everything? Not just his own life, but yours. Every detail, every secret, every moment you've ever had. Things you've never told anyone. Now imagine that same person remembers things he never lived. Events he was never a part of. Crimes he never committed, but describes in vivid detail. What if I told you I met that person? Tonight, I'm going to tell you about a patient who should have never existed. A man whose memory was not his own. I used to work as a psychiatrist at a high-security mental institution. One of those places designed for patients considered too unstable for the outside world. I saw it all. People haunted by voices. People who believed they were gods. And some much worse. But then there was Michael, unlike the others. He wasn't violent. He wasn't delusional. In fact, he was one of the most intelligent, well-spoken patients I had ever met. There was one problem. He remembered everything. From the moment he could speak, Michael had perfect recall. He could tell you the exact number of tiles on the hospital floor. Every conversation he ever had, word for word. At first, I thought he was very psychotic, a rare condition where people remember every moment of their lives in perfect detail. But Michael's memory was different, because soon I realized he remembered the things no human should ever remember. One afternoon during a routine session, I asked Michael about his childhood. I expected the usual flawless details, precise details. But instead, he tilted his head and smiled. I remember the way your mother used to hum when she cooked. She always sang the same song, didn't she? Michael softly conveys in a playful voice. My blood went cold. My mother had died years ago, and I'd never mentioned her to him. Not once, but he wasn't done. And when she died, the last thing she said to you was, "I'm so proud of you." But you didn't say anything back, did you? Michael, in a glitchy, static voice. I couldn't breathe. I hadn't told anyone those words. But Michael recited them as if he had been there. I told myself it was a trick. Maybe he overheard me talking to someone. Maybe it was a lucky guess. But then, Michael started talking about things that were impossible for him to know. One day, he began listing events, accidents, deaths, and murders before they actually happened. He told me a nurse would break her wrist in the stairwell. The next day, she slipped and fell. He told me the head doctor's father would die in his sleep. 2 nights later, it happened. That's when I started digging. I went through Michael's files, searching for anything, something that made sense of what he was. And that's when I found something terrifying. Michael had moved from facility to facility since he was a child. No family, no past, and every single place he had stayed had a history of a missing persons cases. Michael had been moved from facility to facility since he was a child. No family, no past, and every single place he had stayed had a history of missing persons cases. People vanished. Some were found, but their bodies were wrong. They had died of fear, frozen in expressions of terror. No sign of forced entry, no DNA evidence, just gone. Went to the hospital director. I told him everything, but they dismissed me. Michael has been here for years. He's harmless. Only he wasn't. That night at exactly 3:33 a.m., the security system failed for exactly 60 seconds. All the cameras went black. When they came back on, Michael's door was open. He was gone, no sign of forced entry, no broken locks, no footprints. He simply vanished. For weeks the police searched, no leads, no sightings. It was as if he never existed. And then last night I received something in the mail. No return address. Just a single sheet of paper. I still remember you. And now, I don't think I'll ever forget him either. So, what do you guys think? Was Michael just a man with a perfect memory? Or did he remember things he was never supposed to? If you enjoyed the story, make sure to subscribe for more terrifying tales. And remember, some memories aren't meant to be remembered.